The purpose of this diagram is to understand how you use cell boards and process boards to control the cells and the processes, to understand what the issues and problems are, and turn those into just-do-it projects to improve the cell on a daily and a weekly basis. And these improvements are largely done by the people who work in the cells or in the processes. The start of the process is up at the top of the diagram here, and this is where we start production at the beginning of the day. What normally happens is that a cell lead or a supervisor will work out what needs to be made that day, and then lays that out hour by hour on the control board so as to be able to show what needs to be made and what quantity needs to be made throughout each hour of the day. Now, not every company works by the hour. There are some that have shorter time frames, quarter hour, half hour, and companies that are making larger and more complex and longer production processes, they would lay this out with by the 2 hours or maybe even a half day, something like that. But what we need to do is not just say what needs to be made, here's the quantity, but break that down by the quantity per hour so that we can control the process on an hourly basis. So the operators get down to the hard work of making the product and serving the customer, and then each hour we'll tally up how many we've actually made, and we'll check to see if that's the right quantity and the right products based on the plan that was put in place at the beginning of the day. Now we're looking at two things mostly. Did we make the right quantity, and was there any scrap and rework? So we're interested in controlling the process. Did the process work right? If it didn't work right, then what are the things that have gone wrong so that we can then make improvement and solve those problems? Now, if there are problems, then we want to document them. But we don't want to spend hours and hours document them on complicated systems. And what most companies do is they have a chart a bit like the one you can see on your diagram. And the purpose of this, it's often called a problem tracker, is to just write down what the problems are. It'll show the date, the product that's made, the problem that's occurred, and then any other comments that the operator or the cell lead wants to show. Now, when problems do occur, there's two things that need to be done. The first is a short-term fix. We've got to be able to get back on track and serve the customer today. And so the operators, and maybe with the help of engineers or other people, they would make some changes to what they're doing today so that they can get back on track. The other side, though, is we want to solve the problem, not just fix it. Over the long term, we want to solve that problem so that it won't ever happen again. Now, there are some things which are fairly straightforward and are problems that can be solved right there in the cell. And we call those just-do-its. These are small problem-solving issues that can be done by the operator either there and then, or maybe at the back end of the day, or maybe they'll schedule a time tomorrow or next week to work on these things that will solve the problems, and they can be done by the operators and the cell leads themselves. The just-do-its are controlled by a rather strict but informal process right there in the cell. So when they want to do a just do it, they would document that on one of those small cards that you can see on your diagram, and then that would be authorized by the supervisor within 24 hours, just to make sure that it fits in with other things that are going on and things that the operators may not be aware of. And then they would authorize that, and then the operators themselves would do the just do it and solve the problem. Now, just do its are not only for problem solving, and not only for things that are going wrong during the day, they're also used for initiating improvement. And there's a lot of companies where they work with everybody in the organization making small improvements every day. And these just do its are initiated by the people that work in the cell or in the office or in the sales area or wherever it is they work to look around, understand what's going on, and then to initiate small improvements that they can do themselves. And it works the same way. They would be documented on those cards on the Just Do It board. They'd be authorized, and then the work would be done by the people who decided that this was a good thing to do. Now, these are not massive improvements that are going to shake the company, but if you have, let's say, 200 people in a plant, and everybody does a couple of those every week, you're going to get a massive amount of improvement over time. And it's going to be done by the people who are intimately involved with the processes that they're working in. And so you get better improvement and over time, huge benefit for for the company and for the customer. So we've now come full circle. We've made the product, we've controlled the process, we've understood the problems, we've taken action to solve those problems so they don't happen again. We've also taken short-term action to serve the customer today. And now we've made improvement and we've updated our standardized work. And as a result of this plan, do, check, act cycle, we've now made improvement in our process, which is going to improve our productivity, it's going to improve the quality of the product, it's going to improve the service to the customer, and in many cases it will reduce the cost of the operation as well. So that's the cell and process control system that is used by lean companies, and this applies everywhere. It doesn't apply just in a factory. Now, every process in the organization needs to have this kind of visual management and continuous improvement being done by the people that work in that area. And if you're in an office environment, you probably won't be tracking by the hour because the nature of your work is very often a little more long-term than that, but maybe you'll be tracking every day and then reporting the end results every week, but you would be then actively involved in improving your own process. And improving your process, it improves the overall productivity of the value stream as a whole.